Hi, this is Coach Dickinson, and I'm going to recognize one of our very talented seniors on the track and field team, and that is Amareon King. And Amareon, it's his second year on the track and field program, but anyone who knows Amareon knows that he is a talented athlete. And when Amareon came out last year, we weren't totally sure which events he was best suited for because he's a fast, strong, athletic athlete. And he worked some with our throwers and really liked the shot put. And so he would compete regularly in the shot put, but he was also a super important part of our squad in the 100 and 200 meters, and particularly on our 4x100 meter relay team, where he showed incredible speed, worked so well with that team, drilled a lot on the passes, and was a part of one of the most successful teams that we had, one of the most successful events that we had on our track team last year. When I got the coaches together last season, a few weeks into the season, because we were just getting to know all of the athletes. And so, in talking to Coach Kabler and Coach Nunley and Coach Horner about potential captains on the team and who really showed leadership, who brought dedication, who was willing, to take on that extra event or do that extra drill or just try that extra bit each day in practice. Amareon, AK, as a lot of people will call him, he was one of the first names to come up. And Coach Kabler was so impressed with his willingness to push himself in practice, his willingness to push his teammates, and the leadership that he provided. And so we named him a captain last year. And Amareon brought all of that back when we started the season this year. And it was wonderful to see. I mean, you could see the improvement, you could see the confidence, but beyond that, what you really see that characterizes Amareon is that grit, that spark that he has. He's never going to give you his second best. He's out there every day giving you the best that he has. And he's one of those athletes where you could say, we're going to go out there today and do 25 hill repeats, and he's going to throw himself into it, and he's going to give you everything he has from beginning to end. And he's going to push his teammates, he's going to push himself, and that's the nature of the athlete that he is. And as a coach, it's incredibly rewarding to work with athletes like that because of the example that they set in practice. A lot of times, Amareon can be a pretty quiet guy out there in practice, but he speaks through his effort, and I admire that. I admire that in any athlete. That a lot of athletes talk a lot, but when it's time to really get to work, when it's time to get serious, they're not willing to do that the way that they could. With Amareon, when it's time to get serious, he's serious and he's all business and he's going to get the job done. And he sets the example, and he sets such a high example in practice. And for all of us, winning the conference championship in the 4x100 meters and going on and finishing third in the state, that was huge for our team. I can't even say as a coach how much that meant to me and the rest of the coaching staff and the rest of the team, because to do the 4x1 really well is tough. Every exchange of the baton has to be spot on. Everybody has to be fast, and to do that at the conference level and win at the conference level, and then go on and finish third in the state against all of the teams in our division, that was huge. That was huge, and Amareon was a big part of that. And if I asked him to do any event, he was willing to do it. And I know Coach Kabler last year enjoyed so much working with Amareon, and he came out this year to continue where he left off last year, to be a leader, to be somebody who would never be outworked when you were in the weight room, You were out on the field. I know my own son watched him work out one day, and he was doing an exercise and was moving huge amounts of weight. And Amareon just looked at him and said, I was your size when I was a freshman, and everything's just come from hard work and from dedication. And that's really what characterizes Amareon. And he's a busy guy. He works outside of school, works a job, and I see him sometimes, and he's somebody who has no quit in him. And Amareon, I can't say how much I have missed you in the last several weeks, and missed being able to see you go to those meets and really show your skill and your fitness this year, because you started this year with tremendous fitness. And I know I used you as a demonstrator quite a few times because you did drills so well. And every day in practice, you were out there, and you created that competitive kind of environment among the other members of the team, but a positive competitive environment. And that's what every team needs. And I know that you would have done a great job this year as a leader on our team. You would have, as you always do, you would have stood proud as a leader on this team and represented us well. And all I can say from the coaching staff is thank you for everything that you've given to this team. It's been so rewarding working with you and watching you improve. Um, whether it was in the jumps, in the sprints, in the throws. Every time you went out there, to give it your best, and you did it so well. You represented us as a team so well. So know that we're always behind you. I'm always behind you as a coach. If you need a reference, if you need a recommendation, I'm here. And I appreciate so much that hard-nosed work ethic that you brought to our practices, and it will serve you well as you go in the future. There are so many people who bring talent but don't bring desire when it comes to athletics. And you came with heart and desire to every practice, every meet, wanting to do the best that you could do, wanting to do the best for the team, trying to push the team to reach their very best. And I admire that so much. AK, you're the best. You're the best. It's been great working with you. I so miss watching you compete this spring, because it would have been exciting. You would have set some great marks out there. I know it. So anything I can do for you in the future, never hesitate to contact me. Stay in touch. You're the greatest, man. I'm going to miss you. So I'd like to take a minute to talk about Christina Yu, one of the seniors on our track team. And I'm sorry that we can't do this as a group out on the track, but we do want to recognize each of our seniors for all of the dedication that they've shown to our track and field program. And I'm going to talk for a second about Christina Yu, who is the daughter of Jane Pan and DeKing Yu. And I always remember Christina from her time when she started in cross country, and she added a lot to our cross country program. And I'll never forget when we were at Fork Union and we were in that terrible day where it was freezing cold and rain pouring down. And she competed with so much heart out there. And I was really happy to see her come out for our track and field team. And, on behalf of all of the coaches, we just appreciate so much your willingness to try different events, to figure out where you were best suited, and the dedication that you showed in practices and in meets. So Christina, of course, has gone on to do a lot, particularly in the 100 and the 200 meters, but she's also tried different events, the long jump, the triple jump, the hurdles. Christina last year was sixth in the conference championship in the 100 meters, was fifth in the 100-meter hurdles, and also fifth in the long jump. And that says a lot for how far she came in a single season. When we were competing against schools where individuals had spent multiple years on the track, and here it was, Christina and as well as her sister Stephanie, they were coming out in their first year and competing really successfully. Early in the season, Christina put out a 200-meter time that was just unbelievable. And, I know that she worked a lot with Coach Kabler last year, and Coach Kabler really appreciated all of her dedication. And what I saw as Christina moved into her senior year was that added confidence in that experience. So as she came out and started working with the drills, we started getting out on the field and doing hill repeats and sprint drills and plyometric drills. She was like a different athlete, and she brought that confidence and that experience from last year. And she also, does things with a lot of joy. She gets out there, she has that big smile. She's fun to be around, she's fun to coach, she listens. And this year she was just throwing herself into those workouts with so much enthusiasm, and it was wonderful to see. So I'm sorry that you couldn't have seen the full track season this year. We miss you. I'm sorry we don't get to finish the year together, but I want you to know that as a coach, I'm just so proud of what you've done, what you've brought to this program. Please know in the future, if you ever need a reference, if you ever need a recommendation, that I'm here, and I'm always happy to provide that for you. And I'm so proud of what you've done. And I wish you the very best as you move on to Rutgers University. Um, we're all proud that you've done so many sports. You've done basketball, you've done cross country, you've done track and field, and given your best in all of those. And we just love that you have come to North Cross School and given us so much. So please know, on behalf of the whole coaching staff, how proud we are of you, Christina, and how much we look forward to hearing from you in the future. And we know that you're going to take that dedication that you've shown at North Cross and do great things as you move into college next year. So with all of our very best, thank you, Christina, and um, have a great summer when it comes, and know we'll be thinking about you. So I am going to recognize Jaden Young as one of the wonderful seniors on our track and field team, and it's been such a pleasure to work with Jaden. And I'm going to start out by sharing a moment from last year as I was standing out there on the field with Coach Kabler, and we were watching people do some drills and doing some short work. And we began to realize that Jaden Young was a lot faster than I think he even realized, and certainly that we realized at the time, and that he was going to bring a lot to the table when he really figured out how sprinting worked, the mechanics of sprinting, which, as anybody can tell you, it's not just about bringing raw speed to the game. There are a lot of mechanics as far as getting out of the blocks, getting the lean right at the end, knowing when to hit your peak stride, your arm movements, core movements, everything. And Jaden became a huge part of our program last year. And Jaden's been very, very involved. I know he is a fantastic football player and is looking to continue to play football. He's played basketball. He has been on yearbook. He's been on SCA. He's done so many great things. I don't know how he's done everything that he's been able to do this year. He's been a busy guy. And as a coach, he's been so rewarding for me to coach. And I know last year Coach Kabler felt the same way, Coach Warner, all of us. And what we saw as this season began is that Jaden came out and he brought all of that talent and the skills and the dedication that he had shown during the season last year. And when he came this year, he brought all of those to the table, and you saw it right from the first day. And he had a couple practices where he pushed himself so hard at the end of practice, it was like he could barely walk out of there. But that's the person that he is. He's not going to give you a half effort, and that makes him so rewarding to work with. And I love his outgoing spirit, the warm friendship that he gives to other members of the team, the way he sets a great example. Of course, Jaden is the son of Monica Cundiff and Sean Young, and I appreciate all of their support as well at our different track meets last year. And just a couple of things that I want to point out for a first year member of our track and field team. Jaden accomplished some phenomenal things at the VIC conference championship. He was the first runner for us in both the 100 and the 200. And in the 4x1, he was a tremendous competitor as well, and was one of those individuals that allowed us to win a conference championship in the 4x1, as well as finish third in the state, which was just a tremendous accomplishment for our team. And in the 4x1, everything has to go well. And Jaden was out there, and he would just crush it in the 4x1. And I've never seen a group of young men who were so committed to each other and to doing something so well. And so that the team we had, that 4x1 team we had at the end of the year, was simply exceptional. And they showed they could compete with anyone in the state. And we were only just a couple of hundreds of seconds out of being able to take a state championship, and that was really exciting. So in the 200 meters last year, he was also all conference honorable mention, which was great. As I said, both in the 100 and the 200, he didn't start out being one of the top runners on the team, but as he developed the skills, he became one of the best 100 and 200 meter runners on the team. And at the end of the season, he was peaking and he was flying. And it was so rewarding for us to see. It was exciting out there in those last meets because he was putting out fabulous times. Beyond that, I would like to recognize Jaden for somebody who really has pushed himself to do so many things. And he's done them in just such respectful, professional, thoughtful ways. And he's been involved in so many different groups. He's become such an important part of the fabric of our school, and has shown himself to be a leader in larger ways. And there's no doubt he would have been one of the leaders on our team this year. You saw it from the first day. He was out there to do everything right. I used him as an example, as a demonstrator when we were doing drills. And right from the first practice, he was putting himself out there with everything he had: hill repeats and drills and short sprints and longer 200-meter sprints. Everything that he did to the best of his ability. And this year at North Cross, you just saw the growth in him and the leadership potential. And I admired it so much. Jaden, I can't tell you how proud I am of you and everything that you have accomplished and what you have brought to North Cross School. Um, it's really amazing. It's really amazing. And what you brought to the track and field team, I think it surprised you a little bit. I think it allowed you to add something when you went back on the football field over the summer and in the fall, in terms of your confidence and that sprinting ability that you had developed through hard work. Um, and I was so proud of that. And I miss the fact that I'm not getting to see you compete right now out there with your teammates. You would have set some great times this year. I think it would have been exciting as we went to conference and went to states, because you have just been drilling it in practice. And I know by the end of this season, you would have been up there with the best in the conference and the best in the state. There's no doubt in my mind about that. So thank you on the part of all of the coaches who have worked with you over the last 2 years. I can't thank you enough for everything that you brought to our track program. I just celebrate your success. You've come so far in such a short period of time. And I hope if you have the opportunity that you'll continue to pursue track in the future, because you have a wealth of talent and a wealth of potential. If you ever need anything from me, if you need a recommendation, if you need to use me as a reference, please know, do it. Just ask. I'm in your corner all of the way. You have shown so much, and you would have been a great leader on our team this year. And I miss that you didn't get the opportunity to do that. But no, all the same, I'm really proud of how you started this season, and the fitness that you brought into the season and the drive. And please stay in contact. No, we'll be watching you from afar in the years to come. And I believe in you and your potential to go on and do great things. So thank you again. And please know how proud we all are of you and your accomplishments. Hello, I'm here to talk about Makayla Bibby and recognize her as one of the wonderful seniors on our track and field team. So, Makayla, I've missed coaching you here for the last few weeks. I hope you're doing well, and I've been thinking about you. And as I said, miss that I'm not out there coaching you every afternoon. Makayla is the daughter of Michael and Michelle Bibby, and she came out for the team last year. And right from the beginning, I could see that it was really going to be rewarding to coach Makayla. She came out with an open mind. She didn't know initially exactly what events that she wanted to do, but she was going to, throw herself into it, see what happened, and listen to the coaches and try different things and see what worked best for her. And last year, she gravitated to the shot put and discus and became part of the shot put and discus group. And I worked some with them as a coach. I know Coach Nunley worked some with them as a coach. And then, of course, coming back this year, Coach England and Coach Kalen have really worked a lot with the throwing team. And I'd like to thank Coach England as well for coming on board and giving so much to our throwers and being so committed to them. So Makayla last year wanted to come out, wanted to get in shape, wanted to, to see what she could do to be a valuable part of the team. And as a coach, you couldn't ask for someone to bring a better attitude or a higher level of dedication to the program than what Makayla did. And she really started improving as the season went on. And a lot of her season last year was defined by trying to make the state qualifying marks. And it's hard. The marks were hard. And she was a first-year thrower. And so she was still learning about all the fundamentals of throwing, as well as working on the conditioning part of it and the weight room part of that and just building strength. And she threw herself into all of that. And I could see that she had come into the program really with a lot of leadership qualities. And we decided to name her as one of our captains last year. And in that role, she did a great job, because when she comes out to train, she's going to give her best. She's going to lead with example. But beyond that, she was a leader in the way that she encouraged her teammates, in the atmosphere that she created around her. She said one of her favorite moments was with those times where she could put a good throw out there in practice and push some of the other throwers, some of the other people on the team that were usually throwing farther than her, like Solomon. But some days she could put a big throw out there and see if they could match it. And they had that great competitive fire last year with Trenton and Solomon, and it was so fun. It was so fun as they were out there and kind of competing in each other and creating that great environment for each other. And so Makayla went on. She competed really well at conference. She competed with us really well all season last year, and brought that experience and that confidence with her this year, and just started improving by leaps and bounds this year. And one of the things that I appreciated, and a lot of people may not really even know this, is she wanted to add something else to the team part of it. And she decided that she wanted to try the hurdles as well on top of her throwing. And so just before school broke, because of the coronavirus, we were out there and doing some initial sort of introductory drills to hurdling. And she was very, very committed to try to become a hurdler as well, which speaks a lot to what she was willing to bring to the team during her senior year. She could have just said, I'm going to really focus on being a discus thrower. I'm really going to focus on being a shot putter. But instead, she wanted to expand her events and to provide those, hopefully those extra points in our team competitions. And I know she would have done a great job with that. Makayla doesn't give half efforts. She's got that fire, she's got that grit, and when she goes out after something, she gives everything that she has. And beyond that, she doesn't get frustrated. If she sees a setback, last year that she had a couple of meets where she was just inches away from getting a state qualifying time. There were times that if I were out there, I would just like wave my arms to give her a little bit, just a little bit extra, because sometimes she was just the smallest amount away from making the state qualifying time. But that just fired her up to do better the next time. She didn't get down on herself. She knew that she was still working to develop all of her skills. And so if she didn't quite meet her goal in a given event, that just pushed her to give more the next time. And as a coach, what more can you ask for? That is so rewarding to work with an athlete who never gets down, but is always willing to take little setbacks and use that to fuel their fire. Because as athletes, there's always another goal. There's always something that you're striving for. It's not all about today. It's, often about long-term goals. And Makayla demonstrated that so well. She was a great leader on the team, a great captain, and somebody as a coach you look forward to working with every single afternoon. I know Makayla is thinking about maybe political science as a study next year, or computer science and data engineering. All I know is whatever she picks to do, she's going to do a great job. Her potential is enormous. Um, she never shies away from a hard task or a lofty goal, and I love that about her. She's wonderful to coach. Makayla, know how much I will miss you. I miss you right now, not working with you in the afternoons. So we wish you the best of luck from all of the coaches. We wish you the best of luck for next year. And please come back and see us. Send us messages from time to time so that we can keep track of everything you're doing and know how much we believe in you. And I'm always there to provide you with a reference or a recommendation anytime you might need it. So thank you again for everything you've done for the track team, for your leadership, and for the wonderful person that you are. I'm going to recognize Michael Habib as being one of the senior members of our track and field team. And Michael and I, we have certainly worked together for a long, long time now, both initially in the cross country program as well as in the track program last year and this year. Although we didn't get a lot of chances to compete this year, all the same, I know Michael would have done extremely well. And Michael has played quite a few sports in Northcross, including basketball and soccer. And I can't say how much I appreciate his commitment to the cross country program, as well as taking part in our track and field program as often as his schedule allowed him to. Some of the greatest workouts of the last 2 or 3 years that I can remember have involved Michael being there, and we've gone through some tough workouts. I remember some Friday workouts off season where we would run and be in the weight room and then do hard 1 minute drills after we finished in the weight room. And it's some of those great workouts. I always remember Michael being there and his encouragement and his willingness always to push himself right to his limit. And I've always admired that about him. And I appreciate this spring that even after our school got called and the track and field season was canceled, that Michael went on to continue to run hard and to work out on the track. And I certainly appreciate that as well. It was great to see you gaining some really good running form there. And I hope as often as possible in the future that you continue to run with our group. It's meant a lot to me, and having you as part of our distance team over the years has been a very, very special thing. Beyond that, of course, I know that Michael is getting ready to go to UVA next year, and I'm sure you will be very, very successful there. And I obviously wish you the best. The fact that Michael really specialized in the 400 and specifically in the 800 meters, I think says a lot about him. I competed in the 800 meters when I was a young athlete, and it is a very, very hard event. It is one of the hardest to get right, and it suited Michael perfectly, I think, both physically and in terms of his temperament. The 800 is just a great event for him because he has that endurance base, that distance base, but he's also a very strong athlete and a very fast athlete. So he is one of those individuals that once he gets into the last 20 or 30 meters, if there's anyone close to him, then Michael is going to be put on those afterburners, and he really had very, very fast finishing speeds and a great kick. And it was always fun to watch in the cross country season as he came into those last 50, 60 meters. And the same is true on the track team when he came across that, when he came around that last turn, because I know he would hit the afterburners and really scorch those last 30, 40 meters. And that was always fun to see. Um, so I'd like to thank Michael, first of all, of course, as far as committing to the cross country season and being a great team captain this year, and the time that he put in getting ready for track. And last year, on top of a busy tennis schedule, a busy academic schedule, he worked hard in order to get a state qualifying time and then compete at the state level. He said one of his best memories was competing with Daniel O'Brien in the 800s at the end of the season, and I think that's great. And the fact that Michael finished 13th in the state in the 800 meters, which is a very strongly contested event, a lot of good competitors from different schools, and to finish 13th at the state level after you've been playing tennis all season long just shows his potential and the hard work that he was putting in on his own to get ready for that, and I admire that greatly. He also sometimes took part in our 4x 400-meter relays, and he was always very welcome in those as well because he could turn on the speed in those 400 meters. So Michael, I know I'll see you in the future. I hope you run with us often. Know that I support you, and I'm always here anytime you need anything. If you need a recommendation, if you need a reference, I'm always here for you. And I know I will see you out there in some of our future workouts. And please know how proud I am of you and to everything that you have given to the track team as well as the cross country team. So thank you, and we'll be seeing each other again soon, I'm sure. So I would like to recognize Patrick Daly uh, for all of his work that he's done on the track and field team, and of course the cross country team as well over the years. He is the son of Declan and Sharon Daly, who have been wonderful supporters of us both on the track team and on the cross country team through the years. And in no way can I underestimate the impact that Patrick has had on our track and field program. So when we started the program, and it's still a very, very young program, but when we started the program a couple of years ago, Chester Pruitt and Patrick Daly had done some track series running in the summer at Patrick Henry High School and were motivated to bring a track team to fruition and to make it happen and to be able to continue running and competing through the spring. They're very, very committed to that. And as a result of that, we were able to form our first team. And it was a fun team. And Patrick, of course, one of the founding members of that. And we had good success that first year, as we basically just had a distance program other than Isaac Aram. We pretty much just had a distance program, but went out there, worked super hard, had fun, put some good results out there, and enjoyed the process. It was a lot of fun for us. And last year, the program really exploded, and Patrick was one of the people behind the scenes to make that happen, to encourage people to come out, to talk to people who were on the fence about it. Um, and to provide that positive energy that any new program really needs to bring people out. And so I can't ever underestimate how much Patrick has done to make the track and field program a successful program. Um, Having worked with Patrick for so long, I've seen Patrick go through some hard times, go through some injuries that have come at really, really difficult times, knocking him out of conference championship, state championship situations. And he's done that with as much grace as you could ever expect to see from an athlete. Um, the fact that he would continue coming to practice to support his teammates even when he's injured, come to big events just to be there to offer leadership and to help support his teammates. That meant the world to me and to all the other coaches. And I know that Coach Horner would second everything that I am saying here because we both worked with Patrick for so long. Um, and Patrick made his senior year really the greatest, just the greatest. And in cross country, he started out at a much higher level after a really committed summer program and went on to be all conference, all state, things that he had been aspiring to for a long time. And then recently has just signed to go to Wofford and to run cross country and track there. And I'm so excited about that. I know he's planning to study some area of biology and that's the best. And I know you'll do that well and you'll be well prepared for that. Uh, I regret that, of course, the season didn't happen the way we were hoping it would, because I know that you would have put some great times out there. But I'll have to say, one of the things that Patrick has done is, even though the season didn't continue and we don't have a chance to compete, he was still motivated to try to reach some goals and to be prepared as he went to college next year and made that move to college cross country running, college distance running. So he's made a goal this spring of trying to break 5 minutes for the 1600 meters and the mile, and to see how low he can get his mile time down. So he has that moving into next year, and he has a goal to aim for, and he's worked really, really hard for that. And over the last few weeks, I know he's been out there running on all kinds of different weather days and distance days and hard work on the track. And I appreciate that and really admire that. It's easy to say, okay, well, the season's over, so I'll go into some kind of relaxation mode and just kind of skate through the spring. But instead, he upped his commitment, and that says a lot about who he is as an individual and as an athlete. Um, Patrick and I have spent a lot of hours together, a lot of Saturday morning runs in the snow, runs in the heat, high winds, distance runs, interval workouts, everything, every kind of possible workout the distance runners can do. And he's like a part of my family. And he was a great captain on the cross country team, and of course the MVP on the cross country team this year. And I know he would have made a big impact this spring on the track team as well, and set some really fantastic times, and been a great leader and been a great captain for our team. So all I can say, Patrick, is thank you for everything. I know I'll still be seeing a lot of you in the months to come, and I'll be watching you next year as you move on and compete at Wofford next year, and I'm really proud of that. Um, but it's been so rewarding working with you through all of your great years in cross country, and of course in the recent years on the track team, and the enthusiasm that you brought to that, the leadership that you brought. You brought a lot of people into the sport, and you kept them there, and you've kept a nucleus of athletes who were there largely because of your encouragement and your enthusiasm. And I cannot thank you enough. It's meant the world to me. It's been very rewarding for me as a coach and as a person. And the support that your family has given over the years has just been tremendous. And I can't thank you enough. So on behalf of all of the coaches this year on the track team, thank you for everything that you've done thank you for your leadership and for the great person that you are. And I'll look forward to running with you quite a bit in the future and hearing about your future exploits. You have a wealth of potential, and I know you'll go on and do great things. So thank you for everything that you've done, Patrick. I am going to talk now about Sam Carlin, one of the seniors on our track and field team, and try not to get emotional about it. Uh, Sam, when I think about you, and particularly when I think about cross country, I always think about Declan Daly and the way he would yell Sam as you were coming out of the woods or coming off the field, um, and representing us so well. We've worked for a long time together, and Sam was one of the founding members of our track team. He still talks about the very first meet that we did at Hidden Valley, where it was about 32 degrees, and they were forecasting. It was in March, and they were forecasting 5 inches of snow to come later in the day. So they got the meet started early, and it was a really chilly day out there. Sam, of course, really specialized in the 400 and the 800 meters for us, but would run other events at different times. He was a great member of our 4x400 meter relay team, and went to states a couple of times as part of our 4x4 team, and did that so well. Sam is somebody you can count on in big moments. He's never going to give you less than his best, and I want to highlight that here in just a second. Of course, Sam is the son of Jennifer Alexander and Mark and Lisa Carlin, and I appreciate all the support that they have given us over the years in cross country and track. So thank you so much for that. Sam's getting ready to go to High Point and High Point University, and he's going to be working with game design, and I know he will do that well. If you ever talk to him about that, he has a wealth of information to share, and is always doing something new, and it's always fun to have him around and hear what he's doing outside of school. Uh, so a couple of things I want to say about Sam, and the first is immediately that when the track season ended, and we realized that we weren't going to go back to school and weren't really going to have a competitive track season, Sam could have, so to speak, just hung up his spikes, hung up his shoes for the rest of the spring, and decided, well, that's it. So I'll just focus on other things. And to his credit, he's been out there working really hard, and has continued to do very regular runs and intervals on the track, and has really been extremely dedicated. And that's meant a lot to me as a coach, to know that he's still been out there, he's still been working hard. It's not like he has a meet coming up next week or the week after that, but he wants to keep improving. He loves being out there, loves running, loves being part of the team. If there's anything that I think characterizes Sam, it is his dedication to the team, and his dedication to help his teammates improve. I could always tell in the cross country season when Sam had found his conditioning, because he would kind of gravitate from being more on the back of the group during our daily runs to being right on the front, and often really pushing it to the point that other teammates were like, wow, Sam is really out there pushing it hard today, or Sam really, was crushing us today. And when he would really get his fitness base under him, he had no fear about pushing the pace and really pushing himself and pushing his teammates. And that was great to see. He was a big part of our cross country program, one of the top athletes for years in that program. And that of course meant a great deal to me as a cross country coach. And I love that he brought that fire for other events into the track season. And I always knew I could count on Sam whenever I needed somebody to jump in to a particular event. Sam was always willing to give it his best. and he had a lot of speed. And for anybody who runs the 400 or the 4x4 or the 800 or the 1600, there are such tough events. And Sam showed, that great combination of having a good endurance base, but also having a lot of speed to carry that, and really sometimes some surprising speed. Because when it came to that last lap, he always had that extra, and it was really exciting to see. So it was great working with Sam, and like other individuals on our distance team. He's been part of runs in every kind of weather, early Saturday morning runs, hard afternoons of running, and then being in the weight room and sometimes running more after that. And Sam is somebody who will give you his best in every day practice, and whatever we're doing, he's going to give his best. And he's never somebody who's going to say, "Oh, I've got this little pain or whatever, and so I'm not going to compete today." If he was there, he was going to compete, and he was going to give you his very, very best, no matter what the conditions, no matter what the weather. It didn't matter. You could always count on Sam to be there and to give his best and to encourage other people to do so, and to bring them up, and to show that fire on game day. And that always meant so much to me. We've had great conversations on the runs, and we talk about music, and we talk about film, and we talk about video games, which I know almost nothing about. And Sam is just a great part of that distance team that we have had. And Sam, I can't thank you enough. I know you're going to be successful in the future, and I'm going to be keeping tabs on you, and know that anytime you need a recommendation, anytime you need a reference, that I'm here for you. And on the part of all the coaches, and particularly Coach Horner, I know, who has also worked so much with you over the years, just want to say that we are so proud of you, and we thank you for everything that you've brought to our program. Um, the great cross country runs and workouts that you've done, the rainy state meets, the hard track meets, being a founding member of this team and working to build this track team up to what it's become. You are a fundamental part of that, and I cannot thank you enough. And I hope you'll keep running with us in the future. And as I said, we'll keep a watch on everything that you accomplish. Come back, always talk to us. Hopefully, run with us during our summer runs. And good luck to you. And thank you for everything that you brought to the cross country program, to the track program, and just the wonderful person that you are. We will miss you so much next year. Thank you, Sam. So I'm very happy to be talking about Solomon Crockett-Eans, one of the great seniors on our track and field team. And having Solomon come into our track program last year added so much to our program. First of all, he had some experience in throwing in the past, and that was helpful. But beyond that, it was his approach and his leadership that made such a big difference. Because anyone who's coached Solomon knows how easy he is to coach. He's somebody that you can give a program to, you can give a workout to, and know it's going to be done right, and it's going to be done thoughtfully, and that he's going to provide leadership for the people around him and the group around him, and see that things go the way they're supposed to go. It was so fun last year working with Solomon and Trenton and Makayla, and all of the other throwers who were really our dedicated throwers last year. And sort of the atmosphere that group had, because they pushed each other, whether they were in the weight room, whether they were out on the field. They pushed each other. They worked on their drills. And there was that daily competition going on, and one of them would put out a big throw, or do a drill and just nail it, and then sort of challenge the others to match it. and it was fun to see. The spirit of it was really, really good, and Solomon was a big part of that. And I admired the fact that he had a lot of days where not only was he putting in a tough workout with the track team, but then he was going on and doing another workout later on in the day with the football team. And, never complained, never complained. Sometimes if he wanted to modify the workout a little bit, he'd come in and talk to us, but it was always with the right spirit. And if he knew he was going to be doing squats at night, then we would make those modifications. But he was willing to put in the hardest workouts any day. A lot of days he was out there, and he was running sprints and things like that, things that he might not necessarily just love doing, but you will never hear Solomon complain. He is wonderful. And without even trying, he was one of the leaders in our program. We discussed about potentially making him a captain last year, and he was a natural captain. I mean, when he does things, he just does them in a certain way that projects leadership, and he would have been a great captain for the team this year, and he certainly would have been named as one of the captains for the team this year. I want to thank Coach England for his work with the throwers and coming on board and working with the throwers exclusively this spring, because I know individuals like Solomon were making so much progress, and I was excited to see what our first meets would bring, because they were putting out big throws in practice, and I was proud of the hard work that they were showing and the improvement that they were showing in practice each day. And I know those early meets would have been exciting, and Solomon would have put some big throws out there. Last year, he really showed his ability in the shot put. He worked with the discus a lot as well, but really came through in terms of the shot. And he was third in the conference. He was ninth in the state. And I'm telling you what, when it comes to something like the shot put, that is not easy to do when it's your first, season on a team like this. And we are throwing out in the field, right? So we don't have a throwing surface to be using, and so we were just out there in the open field. And yet he translated that to some great performances during the season, and to finish in the top 10 in the state with all of the throwers who were represented, to finish third in the conference with all of the good throwers who were there. That's a great accomplishment for the first season. And I know Solomon would have gone on to put in some huge marks this year, and it would have been really exciting to see. I tried to spend as much time as I could last season with the throwers, because I just really enjoyed the fire and the dedication that they brought to what they were doing, and it was exciting to see. And every time they put a big throw out there, as a coach, it was really rewarding to see. Solomon, I can't tell you how much that I'll miss you, that everyone else will miss you. You come off as a gentleman in all circumstances. You give people rides. You move people in the right direction when they need to be moved, and you do it in just the most respectful ways. And as a coach, that meant so much to me last year and this season. You're just one of those athletes that a coach always feels rewarded in working with, and watching you progress and watching you work towards specific goals. So Solomon is the son of Glenda Crockett-Eans and Carrie Eans, and all I can say, Solomon, is thank you so much for everything that you've given to the team. Know that we'll be rooting for you next year, and we're just missing so much not working with you right now, because I know if you were competing right now, you would be putting some huge throws out there, and you would be progressing every day. Please take all of those leadership skills with you. Your potential is huge. You've worked hard at the school with your academics, with your sports. You've done so many great things, and we're all rooting for you as you move into next year. We're all behind you. Stay in contact. If you need a reference, if you need a recommendation, know that I'm always here, and I'll provided for you whenever you might need it in the future, and glad to do so. You have represented us so well, and I cannot thank you enough. Thank you for making the track team the team that it was last year and that it would have been this year. And good luck and all, and we'll miss you. Hello. So I'm going to talk for a minute about wonderful Stephanie Yu, a member of our track and field team, one of our seniors. Um, so Stephanie, I want you to know on behalf of all the coaches how proud we are of you and how much you brought to our program. As I mentioned when I was talking about Christina, I'm still so proud of everything you did when you came out for cross country, and particularly how you survived that crazy state meet at Fork Union when it was mudded out and pouring rain and freezing cold. And your race was the last race of the day, so the course was atrocious. And yet you went out there and really competed with heart and did such a wonderful job. So I was so happy to coach you again, both last year and this year on the track and field team. And just to mention a few things about Stephanie, she is the daughter of Jane Pan and King Yu, and has brought so much to our school and to our program. And she has just a bright smile, and people enjoy being around her. She's a great friend to so many people, and has a competitive fire that we all appreciate. And last year, Stephanie worked a lot with all of the coaches, but I think particularly with Coach Kabler, and I think it was a really positive relationship. And I know Coach Kabler pushed you to try some different events and pushed you out of your comfort zone sometimes, trying to get you to work on different kinds of jumping skills, with the long jump and the triple jump, and working on hurdles. And I know at times that put you out of your comfort zone, but you kept coming back, kept working hard, trying to find the right place for you, the right events. And as a first year participant on a track and field team, it takes time. It takes time to get dialed in to the events that are best for you. And during the season last year, you competed really hard with a lot of fire and had some great results. I was particularly proud of the third place that you took at the BRC championship in the 200 meters. You ran 29:17, and that's a really great fast time. And so for your first year in the sport, to get third at the conference championship and to run a time like that is just fantastic. So I want to thank you not just for competing in track and field, but also taking part on the basketball team, taking part in the cross country team for the year that you did, and then being so dedicated with the track and field team. And I know everybody enjoyed working with you, and you came out this year, and I could see an immediate difference when you came out this year. There was so much more confidence in the drills that you were doing, in your sprinting ability, and you were bringing that experience and that talent and that hard work that you showed last year to this season. And I'm just so sorry that I couldn't see you develop through another season in your senior year. Your approach was so strong, and you were bringing so much dedication to what you were doing, that as a coach, I was really proud, as all of the other coaches were as well. Because once again, you're bringing that attitude of I'm going to do my best. If I'm learning new skills, I'm going to do my best to master them. And every single sprint, every single drill, I'm going to do the very best I can. And I appreciate that. And I was really excited to see how this year was going to turn out for you, because I know you would have had some great results. I think you began to get a sense of how fast you really were and how explosive you were. So we'll miss you. I miss the fact that you didn't get a chance to really compete a lot this spring, because I know you would have done well, and I know you would have really made us proud and finished the year with some great accomplishments. But we will miss you. Know that as you go to Rutgers next year, I wish you the very best, as do all of the other coaches. I know Coach Horner has worked a lot with you as well, and I want you to know that we will miss you and we'll be thinking about you. And I hope you stay in contact with us, because we want to hear how you're doing. The dedication that you've shown at North Cross will serve you well as you move into the future. And if you continue competing in track, please know I'm going to try to see you anytime I can and keep up with your scores. And I know you will continue to do well if you challenge yourself to do that. And I hope that you do. But no matter what you do, know that I believe in you. I'm always happy to provide you with a recommendation or a reference. And I cannot thank you enough for taking part in this program and just being the wonderful person that you are. So, Stephanie, we'll miss you and good luck next year.